You're listening to RTI Audio, powered by Rocky Top Insider. This is Pancakes and Bacon with VFL, Kyler Kerbison, and Reed Bacon.
Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Pancakes and Bacon. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerbison, joined with Reed Bacon. Have another great one. Vols coming off a victory versus Kentucky. Love beating the little brother. But we're talking the whole game, breaking everything down, offense and defense. Also talking some sign stealing from the old Michigan Wolverines up there. And what did that mean for us last year? But before we get into any of those things, first and most importantly, Reed, how we doing, bud?
What are you doing, little kitty cat?
You calling up them kitty cats?
Yeah, those little kitty cats up north.
Now we didn't plan this, but look at that. You got your Titans. I got my Oilers. Speaking of kitty cats, shout out Will Levis. Appreciate the win, bud. Been shitting on you for about 2 years now, but thank you for scoring 4 touchdowns.
He looked awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I can't. My football mind will not let me change my entire thought process because of what he did. Because you know who the last quarterback to throw for 4 touchdowns in their first start was?
Yeah, it was Marcus. I know. Stop, Kyle. Stop. New era.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what Will does.
I remember those 4 tutties from Marcus, and they did not look like this. It was completely different. I remember that game. It was against the Buccaneers and Jameis. Matter of fact, Jameis's first throw was a pick 6 by maybe Alteron Werner. I don't know if he might not have been there anymore. But anyways, I actually was going to wear my Oilers long sleeve dry fit, which you've seen, and it's sick. Yeah. But the hoodie was a little bit more comfortable for my drive. As you guys can see, I'm in a hotel room. I'm actually down here in Peachtree, Georgia, the land of the dogs. I'm down here for work. And, so we're recording on Monday night.
I mean, Reed, you don't have to lie. We know why you're really down there.
Why?
I mean, steal some signs from the Missouri-Georgia game. We know Heupel called your ass up, said, hey, Bacon, I'm going to need you to get down to the game. I'm going to pay for your ticket and your flight, but you need to get down there and record some signals for me.
I got you, Cole. No problem.
You need to go on this seat. This is a row 2, seat 58 on the 50-yard line on this side, the first half, and then you go to the other side for the second half.
You know, I would do it. If Heupel needed me to, I would do it. Too bad I would probably be the worst sign stealer in the world because I'd be too concerned about eating and check my bets and all that stuff. But anyways, it is nice. Like, I am here for work. We waited. I literally just pulled in. I haven't unpacked. I'm eating. I'm doing this with you. And it's nice.
Priority.
I feel like it's kind of like back to the old school of like me eating during the pods.
Yeah, if people haven't been following us for a long time, this is classic Reed.
Yeah,
eating on the pod.
This is vintage Reed.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't want to talk too long about the Titans, even though they looked amazing. The jerseys were incredible, dude.
Yeah.
They looked. I was like, how have we not been doing this 2 to 3 times a year ever since we've been back in Nashville? And I know there's probably some legalities and Houston.
There was the helmet stuff, like the league took away alternate helmets, so that hurt.
We did do it in 2010. We got murdered in the snow up in New England, and they wore their old school. But I'm telling you,
that was one of the worst.
They looked amazing. If I had not had to drive to Atlanta today for work and be here this week, I would have gone to Nashville yesterday to be at that game just for the simple fact of those jerseys I would have liked to have seen against Atlanta. And last thing. If I see Ryan Tannehill on the field again, which Mike Vrabel's going to do it, he's going to say, if Ryan's healthy, he's our guy. I know he's going to do it, but I do not want to see him anymore. I'm full Will Levis, and I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, you're full will because we already know what Ryan is. I mean, that's why. It's not because Will is a guarantee that he is better than Ryan. It's just that we already know what Ryan Tannehill is.
And you know what? I've been a Ryan defender for ever since he took the job. He's been so much better than Marcus. But
He's been great.
It's the window's over. It's over.
Yeah, it is. So yeah, good win. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But sign stealing has been the talk of this past week. Before we get into the game, we don't spend a lot of time on it. But Michigan stealing signs from the whole Big Ten. That's how it started. You know, hey, maybe some sportsmanship. I don't really care. Yeah, Big Ten doing Big Ten things, whatever. Then it comes out that they were scouting us, scouting Georgia, scouting TCU, scouting every other team that could have been in the playoff. And people aren't stretching too far, saying that maybe they gave those videos or what they were able to come up with to South Carolina so they could take out us and Clemson last year. Quite a conspiracy theory. I don't know if I quite believe that part. I think, South Carolina having a brand new offensive coordinator the week that we're about to play him had a bigger factor in that. I think they were still not able to stop our offense. So like this sign stealing didn't, like, if they weren't doing a good job of it, because it was still like we were scoring when we wanted to. I mean, when Henry got hurt in the third quarter, I think we already had 35 points. Like we were still scoring. It's just they scored 60 on us.
We couldn't stop them, right?
Yeah, we couldn't stop them. So I think the change in offensive coordinator had a lot more to do with them beating us than anything else. So I wouldn't necessarily put it on that, but very intriguing. I don't think I really am hurt by it. Like it doesn't hurt my football morality in a way. Thinking of them going to games and trying to steal the signs. I think it happens a lot. Probably not going to games, but at least I have a guy that stands on the sideline and just looks at those guys over there doing signals, and he tries to figure out what they're doing. I would have someone in film. I want you to take the wide angle, and I want you to just look at the signal callers, and that's it.
I really don't care. This is one of those things
ain't cheating, ain't trying, right, Reed?
This is one of those things that I really don't care about, but I kind of like that they got caught so that other people can make it a big deal. And it's kind of funny because I really don't care, but I can be like, ooh, Michigan, you cheaters. And
you don't deserve none of those wins. Take them out. Take them out.
Yeah, it's I'm going to be the kid in class that's really not mad about stuff, but I'm still going to be yelling from the back just to riot.
Loser.
Yeah. So listen, it's been a part of the game for forever. I don't really care about it, but it's a damn bad look now that you got caught.
Oh, yeah.
So
real bad, especially the jump in success rate once it started happening.
Well, the other thing is, too, they still got blasted.
No, I know. They still got blasted. Apparently, it just came out today or yesterday.
Yeah.
TCU got word.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they changed their signals. And it's oh, I wonder. But at the same time, I'm J.J. McCarthy throwing a pick and fumbling at the goal line is not because of sign stealing. You still need to fix those things.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it just be hilarious that they go on to the national championship and then they're it doesn't count because you cheated? They win one, an actual real one, not the fake one in 97. And then they're hey, sorry, take it away. You cheated.
Yeah, but the NCAA doesn't really matter. I mean, no one takes the NCAA serious these days, so they would still be the winners. But anyways, Kyler, were you nervous at all during this Kentucky game? How did you feel?
I was nervous going into it, for sure. I had a little bit of jitters, just because we've seen the roller coaster. We don't know which Tennessee team is going to show up. We don't know if first half Bama or first half Austin Peay is going to show up. So if first half Austin Peay showed up to that game, they would have lost big time. But I think once we got into it and got into the groove, I still, after the first drive, was like, okay, let's keep going. Like, please don't let up on this. And then just to try, like, seeing some of Kentucky's plays that they ended up having on our defense, I couldn't be upset at the defense. I was really looking at it like, fuck, yeah, that was a really good fucking throw. Like, yeah, that guy went up and got that ball. Like, that was a pretty good run. Like, it was like the defense, I couldn't necessarily say, like, y'all are shitting down your legs. You're letting him run free. He's wide open. Like, I felt like that on the touchdown after half versus Bama when Buddy's wide open. What the hell are y'all doing? And I look back and I'm like, yeah, Tamarian had a horrible technique and he was doing karaoke sideways and he tripped when he's trying to flip his hips back. And it's like, okay. But none of that other stuff, I wasn't like, oh, Danico has horrible coverage here. I'm like, no, the guy made a damn play. And that's what happened. So it felt very like, okay, we're good. We're still in this. There's not like we're just letting shit happen to us. So I felt good as the game progressed, and I did feel in control. Even when we're up 3, I felt like we were in control the entire time.
Bingo. What's the capital of Washington, D.C.? Wait. What's that from Ricky Bobby? I love that. He goes, the kids are sitting there at the dining table, and she asked me what the capital of something was, and I said Washington D.C. and Cal goes bingo, and it was the wrong answer. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think he was like saying like they live in like Texas. And she's like, "What's the capital here?" And he's like, "Washington D.C." Bingo.
Bro, I lose it.
Dear baby Jesus, swaddled in your 8 pounds 6 ounce. Little
anyway.
Hay.
I said bingo because that's exactly how I felt. So I was nervous leading up to the week, but then the day of, I was like just excited to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
I watch us score. I watch us stop them. I'm getting vibes, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like I'm feeling pretty good. Then as the game went on, it's like, hey, we're letting them hang around here. Like, I wish we had a couple more tutties instead of some of these field goals. And I thought Will Levis was starting to cook up a little. I thought Devin Leary it's Devin Leary, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was starting to cook up a little bit. I thought they were going to go to some of their quick game, which they did a little quick game, but some other stuff too. They blocked well or held well, whatever you want to say, which if you want to go there, we can talk about that. I'm kind of burnt out.
I'm only going there because Heupel went there.
I'm just burnt out.
And when we talk about it, we can talk about it.
Okay. Well, I'm burnt out on referee stuff. Like,
I know. 2 games in a row, no live ball penalties.
Yeah, but if we were Arkansas fans, if we were Ole Miss fans, if we were whatever, like we're going to think the refs are out to get them to them too.
Yeah. I mean, Kentucky thinks the refs are on our side with that call on the Ramel catch.
Could totally miss that call. And I thought what Jesse Palmer said was smart. Like, they called it on the field, a catch, and that's why they didn't have enough to overturn it. So I was like,
exactly.
We got away with one. We got lucky. Like, that shouldn't have been the case. But anyways, as the game went on, I felt pretty good. And then towards the end of the game, I was like, hey, we're letting them hang around a little bit. Then you're realizing, hey, are we going to let them take the lead 24-23? Like, what are we doing here? And so then it had my nerves peaked a little bit. And then I was like, we're Tennessee, they're Kentucky. We'll make a play. And we ended up making a play and we won the game. And it was great. And like I said, I just had this baby bit of stress. I mean, I was way more stressed during A&M and some other games like that. Like I said, this is more of I'm just like, I expect to beat Kentucky. So when we win, I'm like happy, but it's just like, hey, that's what we're supposed to do. Now, if we had lost, I would have been furious. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing. I remember being on the team and losing to Vandy, and I remember being on the team and losing to Kentucky. Yeah, it's fucking frustrating.
Yeah,
now, that didn't happen when I started, but I remember.
So let's dive into it. So go ahead and start hitting me with the plays that you got. We'll go offense first. So go ahead and start hitting me with some of the plays you have. Or
so let's go. Yeah, let's go offense first. I was just so freaking impressed by the run blocking of this offensive line. I mean, they are opening up fucking massive holes. Massive, dude. Like some of the replays from behind the quarterback were ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, Dylan Sampson's late touchdown, just wide open. Big first downs. I mean, Dylan Sampson's late run where Mincy pulls and gets flipped. It's wide open. Jalen Wright's long run. It's wide open. So every time I see that, I mean, I'm just getting, chubbed up in the pants every time, every single time. Yeah. It gets me so fired up to see just massive gaps because, we were always taught as offensive linemen, like, and running backs as a group, it's like, it's not holes, it's cracks. Like, find the crack in it. Don't think of it as like, oh, it's going to be huge. No. Because if you think that, then when it's small, you don't think there's anything there, you start bouncing around. You think of it as cracks. These guys can think of it as holes.
Dude,
you can fit a truck through there.
There was one, though, that Jabari, his little cuts were silly. It literally, people say make someone miss in a phone booth. He was making cuts in a phone booth, and it honestly looked like a little maze because we had perfect blocks, and he's like bing, 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 and it was only like a 7-yard run, but it was super impressive.
Oh yeah, I love that play. He made one linebacker look stupid, and then another safety look stupid. Yeah. Also, running backs just did a fantastic job, and I've said this to you before: is taking care of their guy. Right? Yes. You leave one for the running back. They'd get through the line, and there's their one guy. What does Jalen Wright do on his first touchdown? Breaks that tackle.
Yep.
Just makes him miss. Runs right past him. What does Dylan Sampson do on his touchdown late? He breaks both arm tackles of those guys. Jabari making those guys miss once he gets to second level. Like, running backs are taking care of their dude. Their main guy is not the one who's making the tackle.
I wrote that down multiple times about how they handled their guy, how they handled their individual.
Yeah. I mean, I just said, like on my notes, Wright makes the safety miss touchdown.
Yeah.
That's what makes the difference. The offensive line can block as well as they want, but you still got a one-on-one every time that running back comes through the hole because there's too many guys.
These guys are taking it up, and they're making two guys miss almost every play. I mean, they'll make a move on a linebacker and then a safety, or they'll make a move on a linebacker, then the nickel, or a nickel, then a linebacker. It's like if there was an average, they're making like 1.5 guys miss every play.
Yeah, I agree. I thought there was a little bit more thought process into how can we get Joe running the ball, which I like. I think Joe, and he kind of self-admitted this, like he gets more confidence when he runs than when he throws. So maybe it does help his throwing with the confidence. I wouldn't say he's like the best runner in the world. I still think there's times where I'm like, where are you going, bud? But with the offensive line, the way they're blocking, it's kind of like you can see the hole. It's not hard to miss. Like that first 3rd and 2, the left side of the offensive line just absolutely mashed. I mean, just moved the entire line of scrimmage 3 or 4 yards down the field. John Campbell, I think it was Spraggs and Coop, just washed it whole down. So I love to see that. I like seeing Joe just take off in a scramble. Every time he does it, I'm just like, do it more. If it's not there, take off. But, our offense did very well. Like, I'm just talking overall right now. Like, our offense did very well. But Joe is who he is. Like, he's not a great quarterback. So then when you need a play on a 3rd and long or need something like that, Heupel showed you what he thought. Here's a 3rd and 9. Here's a 3rd and 14. Here's a 3rd and 16. I'm running a shovel pass. I'm running a screen. I'm running a draw. I ain't going downfield. It was kind of evident in the calls that were being made that I thought we're in 3rd and 9. He's not throwing it deep. I don't know if you picked up on that too.
Yeah, I need to marinate on that one a little bit because I don't know. I need to marinate. I don't know if that was just kind of where we're at in the game. Maybe the field position. It's 3rd and 14. I mean, what they're going to be playing deep. What do you want him to do? Take a go route? I mean, I think sometimes he thinks that those are just the best plays. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Well, I want to dive in. What?
I say I don't know. I mean, yeah. Like the second drive when we ended up with a field goal, it was 3rd and 14. And we're in that kind of random range. Now, tell me how many times he's gone for it on 4th or set up something to go for it on 4th or, tried to do something. And it was, here's a little shovel pass. I don't know. I don't know if I'm thinking too far into it because I have seen him before. Like, I'm running inside zone on 3rd and long because I'm going for it on 4th.
Right.
But it's like he's not really wanting to do that anymore.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know which way I want to lean, so I don't want to waste time. But I'll just I said, I just need to marinate on that.
Just throwing out plays in that second drive. I love the little swing pass to Jabari coming out of the backfield with a little castle lead. It's such a great extension of the formation because they have them both lined up in the backfield. Castle,
are we officially going through plays yet? You're just kind of
this is one. Castles is lined up behind the right tackle. Jabari's on the right side of Joe, so they're lined up right. He's right in front of him. This is set up perfectly for Castles leading up to linebacker, and Jabari follows right behind him on a run, and then all of a sudden they both take off outside, and Castles is all about the block, right? Already into that mind frame. I am blocking for Jabari, so he starts looking for the block. Well, maybe they're like, "Oh, who are we covering in this?" So I just enjoy that as here's a little extension. Here's an easy pass for Joe. Here's a way to get to the edge really quickly, and you have a lead blocker. I love it, that kind of setup.
Completely agree. So a couple things that I have on offense. Very first play of the game, the Jacob shift, where they have him out, where we used to call it a Catholic, which was ace formation, so 2x2. And so he was in the slot, and they motion him over, and Kentucky doesn't follow him. So they motion him over. Kentucky doesn't follow, so it's like we gained that blocker there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the nickel, their player was a good player. He came in, and he kind of undercut Jacob and hit Jalen by his, shoestring tackle. But that play on the very first play of the game had a chance to go for 15, 20 yards, but the guy made a good play. But once again, just those little baby things. I love seeing that. Yeah. I love the 3rd and 2 formation. Because we're spread out, you still have your H-back, and then you have your extra blocker with Jalen Wright. And this is where it's 3rd and 2 and they run Joe. What I loved on this play is instead of having Joe get it and Jalen run up and H-back run up and try to plow through and we're going, and as we've talked about, the edge guys are the ones that make a lot of those tackles. Right when he catches it and he starts going up for QB power, Jalen takes 2 steps up and gets the guy on the backside.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I like that. It's like, let the H-back lead block, let Joe go, but let's make sure that we don't have someone coming backside to slide and take his legs out before he can really get going. So I love that. Second possession you were talking about on offense. I thought it was nice on the 3rd and 4. Nice by Joe to get first, even though it was called back. It was, hey, he knew this time Joe knew what the play, what the situation was. Cut inside, got the first, and then it was, and then we got called back for the
hold.
I thought this was a nice job by Kentucky to save the hold to a field goal because at this point in the game, we stop them, we score, we stop them. We got a chance to go down and go 14-0 pretty quick, and I thought it was pretty good by them. I know you're going to say self-inflicted. They still, they still made two nice plays.
Yeah. They made some nice plays. I definitely thought they made some nice plays. I thought that number 0, that defensive tackle was pretty damn good.
He's a good player, bro.
Yeah.
Oh. Let me talk about it.
How about you finish chewing your food first?
I'm done. Okay. This 1st and 10, I love this. So this is the version of a play action shot, almost max protect, that like you would see if Kentucky was going to do it. They're going to turn around, they're going to stick that out and put it in the belly. He's going to pull it. They're going to have an H-back stay in block. That running back that just got the fake, he's going to stay in block, and you're going to maybe have 2 guys, and it's, hey, we're taking a shot here. If it's not there, throw it out of bounds or maybe run. This is Tennessee's version of it. So it's 1st and 10, play action, max protect basically, even though we had 3 out in the route instead of only 2. I just love that, and I think it's so neat how he adds that. That's a very typical football play action shot, but it just looks really different because most people watching might say they're just running a deep throw out of shotgun, and that's not what it is. This is really a play action. We've been grinding your ass up. We're going to take a shot to see if your eyes are in the right spot. And the other thing is too, before you say something, I thought Joe did a good job manipulating the pocket.
Yeah. I did think that I think a lot of people thought that first deep throw was a penalty. Like they thought it was a PI, but I thought both guys were kind of hand fighting. And like, I wasn't like, oh, why didn't they call something on that deep ball?
Yeah.
So I thought that was fine. Let's see. Just another right making dudes miss on a good run, just taking it outside, just whoop, making guys miss.
Great seal block by the offensive line.
Yeah, the next play, I mean, this was the one I was like, I've never seen a bigger hole in my life. Like they run that pull, that tackle pull around. I mean, it absolutely expands the hole. The blocking down by the right side, it's just like, dude, just lap it up, give it to me. Please.
That's the one where I talk about where we have one of our guys pull and Jacob or Castle, whoever's the H-back, is waiting. So it's like you got 2 dudes just waiting there to lead the way, and then of course Jalen made his guy miss.
Yes,
it's silly. It really is an embarrassment of riches how good our 3 running backs are.
It really is, and we didn't expect it. We didn't really know that it was going to happen, and it's just like sprouted. And Dylan Sampson is like, what? Like, we're the frick. Like, we saw some good stuff, but we didn't think it was going to be this good. And I mean, he's just exploded. And let me tell you something. This reminds me of Alvin and of Jalen when we had 2 running backs, and everyone got upset that Alvin wasn't used enough and Jalen was used too much. And I'm hearing this scenario right now to every Tennessee fan out there. You saw Jalen Wright run a 56-yard touchdown on his second rush, and you saw what Dylan Sampson did. Who do I take touches away from to give to the others? It's like I both guys are performing. What would you like me to do?
I agree. And I love Alvin Kamara. Fantastic player. He was awesome at Tennessee. I still thought, and I'm not a Jalen Hurd defender or apologist, but I thought Jalen still ran pretty damn well when he was in college. So it wasn't this big disparity type vibe. You give Josh Heupel those 2 guys, and they probably get worked a little bit better than with Butch. But I mean, Butch still did what he could to try to get both of them touches. Going into the season, I thought we were going to be pretty good at running back, and it was going to be like a running back by committee. They're all really good. So instead of the group being really good, each one of them individually is good. I still think Jabari comes in, and he hasn't maybe had the splash plays, but the guy makes someone miss, and he gets really good gains. He runs tough, and he gets positive yards, just like Jalen, just like Dylan.
I mean, I would bet money, and I haven't even looked at it, but every single one of them average over 4 yards a carry. Like, I don't think there's any way that they're under that. With what I've seen, how many rushes they've had, how often it is 4 yards or more. It's just like it's incredible.
To start the game, and I thought I had this in my notes to make a point of it. Let me check. I hope people understand that what Tennessee does sometimes is not normal. When you just run it, and it's like, well, we just ran on 1st and 10, and now it's 1st and 10 again. And it was just kind of like that. And then it's like we run again. It's like, wow, that looked like a win for Kentucky. And it's like, well, it's 2nd and 4.
Yeah.
Like we got 6 yards on 1st down, and people are feeling like it's a win for Kentucky. That's not normal. And it's last year was a special team in their own route, in their own way. We had a Blitnikoff winner. We had Hendon. Like, it's pretty special what the guys are doing on the ground this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Kentucky was supposed to have a good defense. We ran it pretty well against Alabama. Not as well as we should have or could have. Texas A&M, we wore their ass out too. So it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Kentucky has one of the best rush defenses in the country, and we wore it ass out. So, and it can't be just simplified. Oh yeah, it's fluky. They spread out, so that's why it's easier to run. It's like, no, guys, like this would get stopped. This would get stopped if teams understood what we were doing. That everyone knows that the formula, right? Everyone else is watching and seeing what Joe does. And they're like, I want him to throw the ball more, but they still can't figure it out. They can't make it happen.
You would have thought Stoops going in this game. I was like, dude, Stoops is going to
2 weeks. Yeah, bye week. I was scared.
2 weeks of bye week, and I'm like, Stoops is going to sell out on this run, and then we drive it right down their throat. First drive of the game, I'm like looking around. I was like, I'm a Kentucky fan. I'm pretty pissed, and I forgot to put this on the very first offensive drive. The execution and play, I said, was art. The timing was great with Joe. He held his outside guy. The inside linebacker was blitzing. It worked out for Ollie on the pull. Spraggs and Mincy worked up perfectly. Jalen missed his guy. I mean, it was art. It was art, perfect execution.
Yeah, it was beautiful. All right, third drive, I think we talked the deep ball. Jalen making guys miss. Had a couple false starts. I think it was the one on Coop where he had a little half snap. Sampson just finding a hole and breaking arm tackles. Just great running.
That was I put here the 2nd and 10 after penalty. That run by Dylan, that was a little foreshadowing. And let me say this. Jacob was out and he had a chance, and Dylan's busting it out, and Jacob's coming in to try to pick someone up. And this is going to tie into something. I'll go ahead and say it now. The fact that he didn't block that guy, I was so happy about Jacob, because so many times someone just wants to get a little, like, you're out there, and I've been in that position where you feel like I don't want to not do something on this play to help. Well, sometimes you doing that ends up hurting. And right there, it's like, dude, that's Dylan Sampson in the open field. Jacob, I know that you were supposed to block this guy. I know that the way it designed or how this guy shot up, you're not in a position to get in front of him now. And I love what Jacob did. Jacob said, okay, I can't get there. I'm going to work up to the next guy. Yeah. And Dylan made that guy miss. And I tie this into a bigger thing is, and I'm assuming that Heupel and Glenn Ellerby and some of these guys tell them, if I was in there, I'd be like, guys, our running backs are so good on the edge. When we do these quick screens, our receivers are good. Squirrel's good at making someone miss. If you can block them, and I really would say this, like I said, the offensive line, the H-backs, because Castle and Jacob have to block so much, and Jacob and Castle have to block on the edges, which is more difficult. If you just get a hand on them just for a second and you want to tug, just let it go, because these guys are good enough that they're either already by you and you don't know it, or they're going to make a guy miss. So it sounds bad, but instead of being that like old school, hey, block to the whistle, this one's like block until you think you're going to get a holding call and then let them go. because these guys are going to probably already make a miss anyways.
Yeah. I agree. I also think the actual shove technique isn't quite taught enough in blocking of like you engage and then give me one of these.
Yes.
And freaking shove them off of you. I don't know if that's taught as much in like wide receivers and tight end rooms and things of that nature, but it gives you an extra like I hit you twice.
Yes.
I hit you once at the beginning and then I hit you again with a nice shove. So
little shout out to kicker. It's nice to bang. We got stopped, self-inflicted wounds. We should have gone down and scored. Bang a 49-yarder early in the game.
Hell yeah.
Don't let that just slip by.
No. Absolutely incredible performance in the kicking game, making all those field goals. I mean, Buddy's unsung hero past 2 weeks. Like, he's been scoring most of our points. So, love it. Absolutely love it. Next drive, Joe pulls the ball on a counter, and I freaking love it. And I want him to do it more and more and more because I see it a lot where that defensive end crashes or that end man on the line of scrimmage crashes. And I want Joe to keep doing it so they keep staying there and nobody's there to tackle our running backs.
I have it in my notes. That's a luxury. Think how difficult offensive football is for some people around college football, and it's on 1st and 10, and all we have to do is run a read option, or like you said, hold it on a counter, and we could backpedal a first down. That's not normal. That is not normal.
No,
I mean, against a good defensive coach with 2 weeks to prepare, it's just like
like if Tennessee fans, if you're like really just watching a lot of college football, you're just watching college football a lot, right? And maybe you don't step into the NFL realm as much. And you're thinking, look at this offense, the way it works. Like, this is what usually happens. Go watch an NFL game and how good the defenders are and how good everything is set up. Like, it's not easy to just keep getting first downs all the time. Like, I was watching that Cincinnati and San Francisco game, and I'm like, all right, here we go. San Francisco, good offense, good offensive players. Let's see them get this first down. And it was just like run, didn't quite get their punt. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, Christian McCaffrey can't pick up 10 yards, but he's a hell of a lot better running back than the 3 guys we got, but they can pick up 10 yards. So it really kind of like opened your eyes, go watch some other football and be like, oh yeah, shit. Like, this is really good.
Right. I just think first year we're like, wow, this is great. Like, we have a good coach. And then last year was amazing. And we just expect it to always look like that. It's like, it can look different, but still, I find myself, and I'm a pretty hard critic, and I find myself every week just like, wow, like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
150 at this point in the game, where we are at talking, we're at the 6:30 mark in the second quarter, and Tennessee already has 152 yards rushing. Then we do our PA shot to Chaz. My favorite thing about that Chaz catch was that he caught it with his hands. And I love Chaz coming out of high school. I love Squirrel. Those were my 2 favorite guys. I thought Chaz just looked very polished as a high schooler.
Yeah.
But how he looks with his hands, it was a great catch. That was a perfect drive. And that is what happens when Tennessee does not beat themselves and when we don't have a penalty. We go 1st and 10, 2nd and 4, play action shot, boom, and Kentucky's just, their defense is like, we don't.
My favorite part about that is Nimrod literally just beat the corner, just ran right by him, and then Buddy fell.
Right, yeah.
Like, it wasn't like Buddy fell, that's why no. He was going to be open regardless. He blew right past him. So that just makes me feel good for future Nimrod takes.
Yes.
Shout out. I just thought it was very trolling that D was just calling fair catches on kick returns. Like, he's catching it at the 5-yard line with a fair catch. I'm like, come on. We all know we want D to return the ball. There's no other reason he'd be doing that. And it's to say is, why the fuck are we getting the ball in the 25 now? Now I fair catch, we get the ball at 25. So I thought that was a nice troll job by them. Let's see.
The next offensive one I have.
It's right before half.
Yeah, this is where we hit the Ramel throw. Joe worked through his progression. Jacob did come open, but Joe did get out, make a play, nice placement to Ramel, and then I have there that we did get away with on.
And those kinds of plays by Joe is what everyone loves. It's what everyone gets excited about. It's he made some of those plays versus Austin Peay when the guys were dropping the balls. He's made some of those plays in years past that we've seen out of him.
Jesse Palmer about just wetted himself.
Oh yeah, and it was incredible. I mean, his escapability, his on the run to throw that laser to the sideline. It was a great throw.
It was a freaking laser. It was sharks with freaking laser beams on them.
Exactly. But I totally agree with you. It was an incomplete pass. You looked at it, the more and more they showed it, I was like, yeah, his foot's off the ground.
Yeah. It was a nice way to end the half, though. I thought Joe, when he got out of the pocket, kept his eyes downfield, kind of pointed. Squirrel came open, which Squirrel did a great job to work back to his quarterback. So that was great to see. And then I love that he didn't force anything, and he took the dump off to Dylan. And then kudos again to the bang in the field goal home to end the half.
Yeah, I mean that was such a great play by Squirrel too, because they were obviously defending the sideline, like not letting passes get out of bounds, and he was like, "All right, I'll just take inside, and we'll get down to field goal range." And I did think, Heupel said it.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're taught as a receiver. It's, hey, when you see what
Heupel said it afterwards. They asked him, like, why did he go for a field goal with 7 seconds, thinking like, okay, you get guaranteed points, or do you try another play and then kick the field goal? And he was like, well, I think it should have been 9 seconds. And if you go back and watch it, Squirrel gets tackled at 9 seconds. But they only give us 7.
And he was asked, he said, I heard, because I listened back on the presser on the Rocky Top Insider YouTube page, and he said, I asked, because a reporter asked Heupel, hey, is that something that can be reviewed or that you can ask for them to review? And he said, I did ask him. And 6 seconds is what they came back with.
Yeah, I did ask him, and they gave me 7. That was it.
Yeah, 7.
All right, so coming out of halftime, we've got John Campbell. He goes down. And it's kind of funny because, like, I love John Campbell, and I really don't want him to be hurt, and I want him to play out there because I've seen some really good stuff from him. But, like, tell me another time in your, like, Tennessee fandom where you've been like, oh, well, we'll be okay when an offensive lineman goes down. Like, oh, yeah, it's totally fine because Crawford can come in, and you've seen him play. Like, I was like, all right, we'll be good. Like, even when Mincy was out the other week and it was like Dane Davis came in, it was like, all right, well, we'll be all right.
It's a very, very, very fortunate and nice luxury to have. And Kyler, it sounds terrible. I felt the same way. As long as it wasn't Cooper going down, I felt fine.
Yeah.
So this is where fans, and they may not notice, and they're like, it's 3rd and 1 and we got stopped. What the hell is he doing? He ran the exact same play that worked the first time, and this time the running back did not pick up the edge player.
Yep.
And it looked like Castle led up, and it looked like Castle, and I couldn't see it from the back angle, so I could be wrong, but it looked like Castle was going kind of in between the guard and tackle, and the 2 dudes came around off the edge, and so Jalen and Castle may not have seen them, but that's what happened. So it's execution. It works the first half, and then it doesn't work in the second half.
Yeah, it seems to be a theme that is the guy off the edge. And I do think that Heupel is noticing that and can kind of adjust to that. So I don't know, because sometimes I'm like, why even get in the jumbo formation? Why even make it, hey, look, we're going to run it. I'm bringing everybody in tight. It's just like.
Back to what I said, just keep people out.
Yeah.
Just
keep people out. And if they load the box with everybody up there, throw it out there.
Yeah.
And let your wide receiver make a play.
But I get it too, though. I mean, you're sitting in there and you're a coach and you're saying, okay, we need 1 yard. We've been pounding it down these guys' throat. Let's let my massive quarterback go. And it worked, it worked earlier.
Yeah.
He probably expects Castle and Jalen to pick up the edge guy. But, they get paid too. The other guys get scholarships too. Sometimes they make a play, which that's some foreshadowing when we talk about defense.
Yeah. Next drive, we get a phantom holding on Crawford. I have no idea what they were.
They didn't show a replay, so we have no idea.
It was like watching from the wide. I was like, I can't see anything.
Neither.
Then Jalen trips on second down. So you're sitting in third, like, oh, shit. Like, what's going to happen here? And Joe makes a play. Joe escapes the pocket, keeps his eyes downfield, throws a laser across his body to Dante Thornton. Thornton showing up, makes a play, gets downfield. Like, man, Joe, you make plays like that. That's what pisses me off about the Texas A&M interception. Okay, I see this, you raise my expectation, and then I see that freaking pick, and you lower it. And it's just like I see the most difficult things that you can do, and it's almost like he's better at backyard ball than he is actually thinking through what's happening in a play.
Could be.
Like Brett Favre-esque. Like, what's a nickel defense? Like, Brett Favre didn't know that. And it had to be explained like 2 years into the NFL. So it's like, that's the kind of way Joe is. Like, oh, yeah, I'm just escaping and finding somebody. I can do that.
This is a side note because you mentioned Dante Thornton with the catch. Heupel's the man, bro. He and I was trying to think. So today, as I was walking, warming up and stretching and getting these legs loose before running, I was listening to the presser, as I just mentioned, and someone asked him about Dante, and it's like the third or fourth time I've heard him be like, hey, Dante's was hurt in the spring. He's been a little banged up right now. I still really appreciate the effort and energy he brings to practice every day, and he was just very complimentary of him. And it just seems like Heupel just doesn't beat his guys up. He's and maybe there's times where the player is not doing what they need to do. Mm-hmm. And so maybe Heupel, and if anyone can think about it, drop it in the comments or whatever. Because like I said, I was trying to think about it. I didn't do any research to go back. But Heupel just seems like he's always going to take it for his guys when he think, instead of some coaches are going to be like, well, Dante
aren't getting it done.
Or it's like, well, Dante, he's been here in the program and he's getting the opportunities and he's got to make the best of them. And, say like one of these digs. And it's just like Heupel's just like always riding for his dudes. And people are going to love that and play for him.
Yeah.
Because they know, even if Dante knows, like, I haven't been injured since spring. I just can drop that ball against Bama. Heupel's not going to beat him up about it. And I think that's a cool thing if that Heupel does that.
Yeah.
And
it's like that guy knows he fucking dropped it. Like that guy knows that he didn't do what he's supposed to.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to make him feel worse.
Multiple ways to coach. Anyways, continue.
Let's see on this, we run an option. I told you I always love the option. One thing I hate about the option is when the quarterback is pitching to like follow his pitch. And I do think that is taught so that your pitch isn't, bad or isn't like going to be a fumble because you're like watching it through. But to me, it just leads the defender to the running back. I don't know. I don't know if I'm being just too picky about what the option play is. But that always kind of bugged me when I saw it. Like when I saw quarterbacks like, and then they lead to it, like gives that guy an opportunity to just like, okay, I'm going to follow you. This one, we're down towards the end zone and they're about to run a quarterback run. They bring in everybody. They're about to run it. And that big number 0 stands up and just points right at Joe. And looks back at everybody and points at Joe again. I'm like, he called it. Like, I guarantee he was like, they're going to run with the court. Like, just called it. And I feel like at that point, maybe Joe looks over to the sideline like, hey, help me out here. Like, do we have another play that we can call? Because Big Buddy knows it's coming. So they stop it, and then the next play, Spraggs and Mincy get beat on a game.
Yeah.
And to be fair to Joe, this was happening a lot this game. Guys were getting off of level. And what that means is if this is the center that's sitting right in the middle and that guard is right off of his back foot and they set, and now that guard is 2 feet back from his back foot, they are not on the same level. And it is very easy to switch them on guys and defensive linemen to move around them. Same over at tackle and guard. If they are, one is really deep and one is really far up, it's really easy for a defensive tackle and in to run a game. And that kept happening. Happened to Mincy and Spraggs. It happened to Ollie and Coop. It happened a good amount and was the reason for most of Kentucky's pressures / sacks. Was just getting off level. And you just got to be paying attention to it as an offensive lineman. You cannot, as the further back guy, I need to make sure if I'm the tackle, I cannot be off level of the guard. The guard cannot be off level of the center. The center kind of sets the level.
Just create space, create space, alleyways.
Yeah. Let's see.
Any other big points you want to get to on offense? Because I know you want to keep it an hour. We're at the 51.
Yeah, I want to try to. Yeah, I got another Spraggs and Coop off level. That was the play that people are showing of Joe trying to look at all 3 routes, and Ramel actually comes open on a slant. It's probably his 4th read, so it's hard to get back over there. But that was a play that Spraggs and Coop got off level, and they got picked. Let's see. Dylan, just shout out him in the last, in the 4th quarter, just making plays when he needed to, just bouncing off dudes, getting extra yardage, breaking arm tackles, breaking another tackle on the edge. When Squirrel missed the block and he still breaks the tackle and gets a first down, like that shit is so big. Then just, shout out everybody's effort on that final drive to just run that clock.
Yeah, it was nice. It was really, really cool. I thought we had a missed opportunity when we were, going down before half and then after half, where that game really could have been 26-17, 30-17. And that adds a different level of pressure for Kentucky. But sometimes it's the Jimmy and Joes and not the X's and O's.
Yeah.
And we know how much we love our X's and O's from Coach Heupel. But sometimes you just got to have a guy that's just got that whether his day and it's his game or whether that's just who he is every game of the year. But Jalen started us and warmed down. Dylan came in for the knockout punch. And that, the one you're talking about where it's the quick throw or screen or whatever it was, and Squirrel misses his guy. And the guy has Dylan wrapped up. And he just breaks it and gets a first. And then there's the shuttle pass, and their best player, number 0, has Dylan for a 1-yard loss or a 1-yard gain. It's right there, and Dylan just keeps running and breaks it out and gets that stuff right there is where you're sitting there, and that's the point of the game where I'm a little nervous. I'm like, okay, let's close this thing out. And he does that stuff, and those are the plays that kind of put you in and cement you into some Tennessee history for some fans. I'm going to remember those 2 plays, and
for sure.
It's weird, man. It is weird it's weird because these guys are not the biggest guys, and they make dudes miss and break tackles constantly.
Slippery.
Okay. So shout out to them how they finished. I'm so on the last leg right here. I just got I have not even unpacked the car, My phone charger is still out there. I just got the 10% battery.
Sorry to the defense, but we're going to try and do this real quick.
Let me. If this screen goes black, then adios, Ball Nation. It was great talking with you this week, and you can finish it. But Kyle, I have to get to a few things.
Okay.
The most important things that I want to talk about, and this is not in any order, but once again, the plays that the defensive backs gave up, they were in great position.
Yeah.
And it happens, but we cannot fault those guys when they are in perfect position and someone else makes a play.
When their hand is on the ball.
We do not have Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, Deion Sanders, Jalen Ramsey, AJ Terrell. We don't have all those guys on our team. And guess what? Even those guys get beat sometimes. So it's all you can ask for is that they're in the position and they're right there to try to make the play. And guess what? Tamarian makes the play on 4th down, and they tried to rub him, and he had to get through it, and he was still there and made the play. So, like I mentioned, the only one where I've really seen our Tennessee defensive backs look like they're playing Tennessee because someone is running behind them free was one play at Alabama. Mm-hmm. So just shout out to these guys, and everyone knocked them coming into this year. And I know what the numbers were last year. It's not just on defensive backs on how much yardage you give up. There's a lack of pressure. Maybe the linebackers aren't doing their jobs.
Yep.
I thought it was awesome to see that even though Devin Leary was making good throws and that guys were making good catches, our guys were in the right position. And I understood what Banks was doing this time. We weren't getting the pressure that we thought. He wanted to put people in zone. We didn't run a ton of man. Bend but don't break, and the defense held them to field goals.
Yeah, and I think that plays into it. There was a lot of hitches, digs, slants that were getting hit, out routes, and like the deep balls that maybe you think that were deep were really like 20, 25-yard throws. A quarterback, that's a 3-step drop. 1, 2, 3. I can throw it 25 yards, and my guy is already there. Like, it's not a deep, really deep throw. You don't have to wait for it. So I think that also played into us not having pressure. Was I kept counting every time that quarterback got the ball. I'd say 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and he lets it go.
They were getting it out.
They were getting it out.
Now, and Banks could have said, you know what, if you guys want it. And it wasn't the all-quick game because I thought rewatching, I was like, let me see if they're really quick game. There was a couple where they were dropping it back, and he was letting it rip when his back foot hit, but maybe it was 3 stops, maybe it was 4 steps. It wasn't just all super short stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Banks could have said, let me man up and try to bring some more people, but I thought he mixed some man in there well. I thought how we started the game was, we get our defense a stop. It's a first snap, seemed like a good tone setter. Hey, you want to run the ball? You're not going to be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
You got
Tyler Barron.
Yeah. I have on here, if you were a coach against Tennessee and you think your tight end is going to block Tyler Barron, you're a fucking fool. You should be fired after that game. You should be fired.
Yeah.
So anyways, first snap, tone setter, Tank, Tyler Barron, Wesley Walker, Elijah. Second play, they put Tyler Barron as a defensive tackle. Not fair. Bryson Eason having a well of a season. He might be the 3rd best player we have on the D line. You got James Pierce and Tyler Barron, and then
Eason's killing it.
And then Bryson Eason and Omar Norman Lott probably splitting there, and then Omari Thomas is kind of the vet. Which, by the way, it was funny watching him tell Delvin Hobbs where to go, which was funny. But Omari Thomas has been well, but some of these other guys have just made some of the splash plays.
Yeah.
And then 3rd and 15, I got to shout out Roman Harrison. The 3rd and 15, which we were basically, hey, keep everything in front. We're not going to let him get the 15 yards. But Roman Harrison is rushing, and then he's there with 2 DBs when the tackle's being made. The guy's done that his entire career since I've watched him.
Yeah, his trace back, his effort.
It's 2nd to 9.
Yeah.
3rd and 1, textbook with Eason, Amari.
The quarterback, there was never a chance.
No.
I saw them line it up, and I'm like, this is about to get so stuffed. There's no way. And then my favorite thing, absolute favorite thing, 4th down. Tyler Barron just wins his one-on-one. there's not a blocking scheme issue. There's not someone missed what was going on. We're running it in this A or B gap, and our guard is one-on-one with their defensive tackle, and Tyler Barron won that.
Banks also brought Tamarian off the nickel blitz, and which worked out perfectly because it ran right there, and it was just him and Elijah were there to help Tyler Barron, even though Tyler probably didn't really need it. So just think, we get a stop, we score, and we stop them on fourth down. It's the recipe. I really thought that we could have put them away, but they did a good job bouncing back and fighting on some stuff.
Yeah.
I thought, honestly, Kyler, we've talked about it here. I have on this some nice plays and play calls by Kentucky. One thing I got to shout out is he hasn't played a ton. I mean, we've seen Aaron Beasley, we've seen Elijah, we've seen Caleb Perry, who's been getting some good run. Arian Carter played a little bit, but dude, when that guy figures it out and hits time, his athletic ability and his speed is going to be a massive problem for people.
Yeah,
you can tell you can tell by his physical gifts that there's something different there than Beasley or Elijah and I wondered where Jeremiah Thielander was this week, because I was excited to hopefully see the head basher.
Yeah, I remember on one play where Arian was in zone. I think it was later in the game, and tried to get over, and the guy was running back across him, and he kind of flipped his hip sprint. Guy took off, and he didn't fall. I've seen many people fall. He just flipped his hips. He was behind, but he still flipped his hips and started running again. And I was like, wow, that was kind of athletic.
Are you talking about Arian?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the play I was talking about. He did that, and I was like, dude, that's his.
Yeah. Just the next drive, there was when the tight end went on that out route, and Roman was trying to cover him, and then it was a completed pass. We ran a great blitz around and tried to get James Pierce to come inside, and that left guard just did a great job of picking him up.
Mm-hmm.
It was just all right, well, I can't be mad at it. Offensive line made a good play. Tyler Barron just pushing dudes around again. Let's see.
Let me say this. They've been trying to run it a little bit. And instead of running A and B gap, they try to toss. And the toss was our Wesley and Tamarian and Tank did a really good job this week at coming up and playing at the line of scrimmage. Our pursuit was really good. I thought the whole night we did a great job making them one-dimensional.
They're a running team, and we took it away. They could not run the ball.
And we took it away immediately. Hell, they had to do the jet sweep handoff to that Ray Davis guy for him to even get a tutty, which was a good play call for them. But this is typical UT defense on this third possession is we bend but don't break, hold them to 3. And most of the time, if we're holding you to 3, you're not going to beat us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was also the 3rd and 10. We showed the double inside backer blitz. It was pressure with 4, especially JP. James Pierce got there, and then it was just nice on the back end. It was really, really good coverage on the back end, and that's where they threw it. They kind of had some good momentum going down. Then they get in the red area, and they can't get it in.
Yeah. The next drive is the one where you've got Danico getting beat, but still great coverage, and then McDonald getting beat in the end zone, but still all over him.
And it was the perfect play design by Kentucky to they're on the left, they got all the field on the right, they got their trips, they're going to run off and try to kind of pick play, so our guy has to run through traffic. Tamarian's hand touches it. You can see the ball, and it just ended up being a good catch. But
yeah, it really did.
Then they came back to it on the 4th and 6, and he made the play, which we've already talked about.
Yeah. Let's see.
Tyler, did you hear Jesse Palmer? He was like, "Oh, did a great job picking up this block," and then they show the back angle replay.
Yeah. James Pierce just absolutely bodied, buddy.
Yeah, and then Jesse Palmer goes, "Well," because he was bragging about him. He was bragging hard, and then they show it.
Yeah, because he was just like, "Oh, James Pierce didn't have pressure," and it was like, "Yeah, he didn't make a tackle, but he ran him over.
He decleated him," and then Jesse Palmer kind of laughs and goes, "Well, maybe," he said he stonewalled him. I said, "Jesse, No
You were
one got
watching, boy.
no one got stonewalled there except your boy, your left tackle. So that was hilarious to see that. He just got stuck with his words in his mouth, and then he realized what he did. And he's like, "Well, at least he held James Pierce for making the play."
Yeah, exactly. Next one, got Leary finding a hole in cover 2.
Yeah,
I thought their wide receivers did a very good job of finding the holes in the zone. Like they would hit those little comebacks and those hitches and some of those little digs and kind of stop and shuffle and find that hole. So I thought they did a good job at that the whole time.
Jesse kind of made it sound like Brandon Turnage didn't play that well. I thought Brandon played it fine. It was just a really, really good throw. It's the wide side of the field into a cover 2. He's going to make that throw a lot of times. And so I thought that was good. This was this is one thing I want to bring up. I love a lot of what Tim Banks is doing, but when it's 3rd and 9, there's one guy on Tennessee, two guys on Tennessee's roster. If it's 3rd and 9 or it's 4th and whatever, and it's a passing play, I do not ever want to see James Pierce or Tyler Barron dropped in any sort of coverage. And this one on 3rd and 9, he has JP dropping back. Hey, I love a cool zone blitz where you bring this guy, drop this guy, but don't ever make the guy that is dropping back James Pierce or Tyler Barron.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Great job also on the double pass.
Yeah, great job defending the double pass, not letting that get away from you, making them run it. And then what Jesse said, like, shout out that dude for just taking off and running it. Like, that was smart by him.
Agreed. So many guys get so excited for that, and they just chuck it no matter what. And it's like, well, you just ruined your opportunity.
Yep, exactly. You're not getting that again.
Thanks for showing up.
Sweet play to Ray Davis is how they end up scoring on this drive. I thought Wesley kind of got up too far into the line of scrimmage, so it got outside of him. Obvious holding on Ward Burrell, like pretty bad, but whatever. They score. Time for us to answer, and then we answer with a field goal before half. So it was good. In the second half, let's see. Sack by Tyler Barron and Norman Lott. This was a huge play.
Huge.
And absolutely loved Tyler Barron. Just
this is the announcer jinx, because they were talking about the big blue wall. Out there, and then they go, well, right on cue. And Omar Norman Lott shot in, Tyler Barron shot in. I was like, massive play.
Massive play. Love it when it's like a little 2-man sack. Just means both of you guys had a lot of effort. Let's see. McDonald fights through attempted pick on 4th. Oh, yes. And this is what you mentioned before. Like, he fought through a pick on him and was still able to defend the guy on 4th down, which was great.
That was more of a rub. They were trying to more rubs.
Yeah.
But it was.
I categorize it.
It was fantastic.
Elijah claps again. I couldn't believe it when it happened. I could not believe it. Let's see. Eason with another just push and wrap up of Ray Davis. Just did it by himself. Just pushed the guard back, made the tackle. And then they run hitches down at the goal line and we're in zone. And it's like, that's going to work.
You can just,
you can find the zone. Like, the wide receivers are doing a great job of finding that hole. And think about it. That wide receiver took 2 steps, turned around, caught the ball, turned and ran into the end zone.
But sometimes it works when you have, it's probably best to do like a 2-man under, because then you got manned up and then you're going to have a guy in the middle of the field, whether it's a safety or a linebacker. But there's times where if you can pass off well and communicate well, then that's a decent defense. But there's a lot of times that you're going to have your guy on the inside that the quarterback knows, whether it's a tight end or a slot receiver, that you get there, you turn, and they hit it pretty well. So it happens.
Let's see. Next drive. They were getting like a check down for 10 yards. They had a good play action pass corner route versus man. And, that's tough to stop. That's the one where it's like so smoky you could barely see it. Beasley gets beat on a slant route, which is kind of tough to watch. But then we kind of get back into it. Pierce bats that tight end screen on the blitz, which was massive because if that gets over him, that's a huge gain, if not a touchdown.
Rodney Garner has gotten these guys very, very locked in on if you're getting by them that easy, get those hands up, recognize what's going on, and then turn and sprint. So, because there's a lot of teams that are going to do that. They know how good we are at pressuring them, and so they're going to try to murder us behind it. And luckily, so far, we haven't gotten beat too bad on it because the Texas A&M guy dropped one. We've gotten our multiple times batting these things away. So it's been really impressive this year that.
Yeah, I think we got beat.
They try to use our aggression against us, and it hasn't gotten us yet.
I feel like there was one that maybe it was like Austin P or something that it was perfect. Like
it was
blitzed right into it.
Well,
and they got it.
It's Austin P though, so
yeah, exactly. Then good coverage by Judah Lally on third down. This is their long field goal they attempted and ended up missing. And in the last drive, I thought, let's see, I got McDonald on a blitz. Elijah gets a hand on it. I think that's when he batted the ball. Let's see.
I want to shout out one that I remember, and I've had to play this defense multiple times. It was always very frightening. And it's when you're the safety and you're about 10 yards, maybe 12 yards deep, and you have the inside guy. So it's outside receivers being guarded by the outside corner, inside guys taken by the nickel, and then the safety gets the deep guy. And I thought Wesley played it perfectly, and it was hilarious because the Kentucky receiver tried to hit him with like the YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, quick feet, cool looking.
Like drag the foot behind you so all the things spread and it
was so funny because he comes off fast and he starts to hit this Instagram really cool off-season training video BS at 5 yards. And he never pressed to Marion's cushion, which is what you have to do. So what he should have done is if he's going to try to do that, you got to get to 8 or 9, then hit those feet, and then break out. But he comes off the line, tries to cook. Tamarion's still sitting there. Then he gets to Tamarion and tries to break down, and it's the slowest, most unathletic breakout. And Tamarion's standing there. He never gets his cushion broke. The guy breaks out. He runs with him, gets his hands, and bats it away. And I thought it was great coverage, but I just had to throw that out there that it was very, very funny that the Kentucky wide receiver tried to have an I'm him moment, and it fell completely on his face.
Yes. Love
notice
when that happens.
Did you notice it?
I didn't notice the Instagram route.
I'm going to find it and send it to you. It's fun.
Send it to me. Towards the end, just good pressure up front by Omar Norman-Lott. He almost got his helmet taken off on that play. I don't know if anybody else noticed, but like literally as he gets past the O-line and he's like putting his helmet back on as he's running to the quarterback. And then Burrell does a great job of tackling the guy on an out route before the first down, and forcing Kentucky to a field goal. And then we get the ball back and don't give it to him. So, good team win by everybody. I thought there was really good things. I thought Kentucky played well, which is the reason it was closer and not necessarily we were playing really bad. Because I didn't even get that annoyed with the penalties. I still felt okay about the penalties we had given up. Some were stupid, but I wasn't pissed. let's say.
I think it's a great team win, man. You lose Kamal Haddon. You're playing a team on the road. It should be one of their biggest games of the year. The place should be rocking.
Whoa. This was our Super Bowl.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Anyways, they've had 2 weeks to prepare. Both teams are 5-2. We don't play our best, but the game really felt like the team in orange and white was much better. And it was very much, like you said, it's the big brother, little brother. It's little brother comes out sometimes in the backyard or in the driveway, and they get a couple, and you're playing to 10, win by 2, and he gets 4, and it's 4-5 zip. And then you just come back and you just kind of handle biz. And that's what it is. Now, that's not what we had to do because we kind of, we ran out and started hot, and they really never caught us.
Yeah. But
my point to that is it was just the better program, the better team won. And it's, we're 36-3 against them or whatever it is. And they're going to have to play really, really well to beat us. And they played fine, but they didn't play really, really well.
Yeah. And my last thing, just before we go, a little shout out from.
I'm kind of okay with not playing Tennessee on a yearly basis. And I know a lot of Kentucky fans may not be accepting of that because, I love the Tennessee rivalry, especially in basketball. It's a year-round kind of rivalry with Tennessee, but I would rather have South Carolina or Missouri.
That we can beat. That we can beat. No, I mean I don't think you're wrong. I mean we I appreciate the call. We've hit Tennessee. This has been historically Tennessee's worst run, except for last year, and we only beat them twice. So
if I'm being
just a little shout out from Kentucky Sports Radio after their loss.
Hey, at least they sound reasonable. I'm fine.
That's true.
See kitty cats. We'll see y'all in Thompson Bowling, Kroger, or Food City Bowl. We'll see you then.
Yeah, exactly. All right, brother. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. If you are just listening, rate and review, download, re-download, follow us on all those listening platforms. Also follow us on social media at Pancakes and Bacon on Twitter for our main account, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram. And then if you want to follow Reed, is just at rbacon26 on Twitter for him, and at Kyler Curbison on all social medias for myself. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And as always, go Vols.